Yo, what is up? What is happening? Hope everybody's doing well. So, we got some Alliance War. Unfortunately, I had to bring Ghost Rider in here for the villain synergy because there was a science on the bleed node. So most of the time, well, nearly 99% of the time, if you see science on bleed node, you know it's going to be Bodok or Void. It could be a Spider-Man, but that's just for like a little ambush. There's usually better champs. So normal path 4, and let me tell you, this path, this 4 is super exciting. I just want to go ahead and say this was the best performance for our alliance. So that feels good. I am going to show the first couple fights because my last 4, I did I did die to my first node, which is a Black Bolt. I did die to the Strike Back. So the game came up with a little network error, and I was like, oh, is this a bad time to fight? But it went away, so I was like, whatever. So let's check this out. We got a Science 6-star. So I know I don't need to be too worried about this. I've taken to adding just a little bit of a boost, just because I have a ton of those 10%. So I figure, why not, right? So we're gonna go on in here. Okay, so right, Strike Back node. Oh, I just want to be very careful about that. So essentially, if I'm going to throw a special, I want them to be, below a bar of power, basically. So it's a Cap World War II. If you had told me, maybe pre-12.0, that Cap World War II was going to be released as a 6-star, I would have been so hyped. But in the state of the game now, he's fine. He's not terrible, but he's not bad. But he's not great either. So I want him to throw this little one. Now I can throw the L2 safely. Just want to get some damage going on there. He's got an L2, which is unblockable. I am aware of that. But one of the more easy ones to evade. I decide not to throw the L2 until never. I don't even want to risk it. Lesson learned. So, next node. We've got a 5-star mutant dupe. Now, to be honest, I had no idea who this was going to be, but also it didn't matter. Unblockable L1. A little bit of cornered action going on. Nothing serious there. And it's a Cyclops. Thing about Cyclops with Starkey is you have to be, when you're evading his L1, if Starkey doesn't auto-evade, it won't register your medium rush after it. So punishing this can be difficult. I remember that from LOL with the 90 Cyclops that goes unblockable. But that shouldn't be a problem here. See, we had the auto evade, so I did not go for the punish. But a little 12k L1 shouldn't be a problem. Okay, so we're gonna wait till we have full energy, and we're gonna finish the last 5. Okay, so we're looking at a 6-star skill on the All or Nothing. Now, the last 2 wars I've had Kingpin here, which I think is a good placement. I think Kingpin is a good placement for All or Nothing. It forces you, not that you're going to necessarily die, but you definitely take chip damage. And my playstyle against him, I basically have an allocated chunk of damage that I'm going to take due to block damage. So that's who I was expecting for this node. I was expecting Kingpin. So I'm just going to go in with my usual kind of vibe here. I'm all boosted up, as you can see. Yeah, just checking it out, all or nothing. Let's get in there. And it turns out to be Thor Ragnarok. Now, even though it's a heavy-handed node, or whatever that's called, where he gets additional damage on his L3, if Thor Rags is not duped, his L3 does not hit for anything. So with that in mind, I already know that, like, if I take an L3 to the face, I'm probably not going to die. If he touches me after the L3, I can get some shock damage and get stunned, but I'm not really worried about that. He actually ends up throwing that L1 with the taunt up, so that really gave me a lot of space. I should have probably hit him with the L2, but luckily I do stop that at the 19th hit, and I get a power drain, yeah, down he goes. Pretty simple fight. Like I said, I think Kingpin is a better choice for that. I think Thor Rags is, I don't know, a lot of people put him on nodes, but yeah, I mean, he's pretty easy. I don't really think he's a very good defender, to be quite honest. The only node that I think he's good on is any kind of power drain node, which brings you to 0 power, so that can be kind of a pain. If you can't stop his power gain on the 20th hit. Okay, so I know I'm going to use Blade, so I use some level 2s. I got plenty of the level 2s. So yeah, we've got a Limber node. Usually this is, I've seen Archangel here, and it turns out that it is a Nightcrawler, which I haven't seen here in a long time. Now, ever since Dungeons, I've gotten very comfortable fighting Nightcrawler. So I get the switch there. Even if I don't get the switch, I really learned that, you never do a medium and he just telegraphs his evades. So I do get clipped by a heavy there, which was a little weird, but I'm not too worried about it. We're just going to kind of go in here for an L1. Yeah. He's going to be dead. Yeah, like I said, he telegraphs his evade, so as soon as you see that smoke, you can just evade back. But easier to get the switch, and we do. Okay. Next up is a very exciting fight. Okay, so I'll tell you what I was thinking for this fight. In BG2 and 3, they had some Iron War Infinity Men on these nodes. So I was thinking, every time I've seen tech here, it's been Sentinel. And I just, based on my experience, that's what I thought it was going to be, even though they had the Infinity Wars in the other ones. But just in case, I'm going to put on Invulnerability Boost. So we've got Cornered, we've got Vigor, we got Plagued Mind. Got a lot going on in this node. Pretty fun node, pretty fun fight. So it turns out to be Infinity Man. Wow. I was like, okay, cool, fun. I'm going to build up some poise. Bait out this heavy. We're going to go in. I know once he gets to 3 armors, you cannot hit him. So I'm going to go to my heavy trick. I get below 75%, which shuts off the regen from Vigor. Go in for another heavy. Now I can go back to playing normally. It looks like I'm not going to get to the next interval of 50%, so he will regen. Looking there, got 2 decks out of that unblockable L1. We start the timer over for the regen. Up to 10 poise. I'm going to go in again for another 5-hit combo. I'm trying to get him down to 50% before that goes off, and I do not quite make it there. He gets to 3, or down to 2. I go in for the heavy intercept style. I'm basically rotating that style. Gonna bait this out. Double decks on that baby. I think I do, yeah, go back in for another 5. Thing nice about Starkey is that even if he's not critting, he's still, his attacks are still going to hit for about, 1,500 with 10 poise. Okay? So we're going to go in here, keep pushing. I actually see that I have an L2, and yeah, big chunk of damage, and down he goes. Man, that felt good. Very, very smooth fight on the Iron Man. Ooh, that put a smile on my face when that happened, man. I felt good. All right, so now we're going to jump to the bleed note here. Okay, going in here. So I actually hadn't looked in here, but there are persistent charges, so I knew it was going to be a MODOK. Now, if you don't see persistent charges and you don't see a Void in their team, you know it's a Spidey, and I would have called for backup. But because it is MODOK, we're going to go in here with Void. We got Danger Sense. We shut off the bleed. My thoughts on the villain synergy aside, I'm going to utilize this synergy when I can. Yeah, so this is a super straightforward fight. Rule of thumb with MODOK is if he has a special, don't attack him. Get that special out of him. If you're trying to remove the armor, just do 2 hits or 1 or 2 hits. Don't keep going. So this, see, I just did 2 hits there. Smooth sailing from here. We've got him below. We got him in his assassins. Those bleeds are ticking for a big old chunk. And MODOK goes down real smooth. We did take this war. We did have a personal best for the Alliance of 12 deaths. That felt really good. And it was actually 4 deaths for each alliance, so we all performed equally as well. And man, that feels good to kind of set a new benchmark for deaths in war. And not easy either. There were tons of Iron Man Infinity Wars and all kinds of tricky little fights. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the war. Great job to the guys we faced. And yeah, check you guys later. Peace.